Hey everybody, welcome to Back Issues. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Ben.
Ultimate Spider-Man is happening again!
What volume is this?
I don't know, 18.
18. Ooh.
But we haven't done 18 episodes.
No,
No.
we've only done like 16.
We've crunched some of them in, right?
Exactly, yeah. We squeezed at least 2 into one episode. But this is Ultimate Knights. So you're gonna meet, Knights. No, you're gonna meet the other street level characters that no one bothered to create in the Ultimate Universe. And so Ben is like, all right, fine. Here you go. Here's some shitty, inferior versions of some of your favorite characters that are just used as supplemental characters in a Spider-Man book. And it's like, yeah, okay.
I do want to see Spider-Man with these characters.
Yeah.
So if you want to see that, you're going to have to invent them.
Here they are. Right,
Yeah.
because no one else is going to do it, apparently.
And they have to be different because it's the Ultimate Universe,
Here's the
so
thing.
everything's got to be different.
That's
We're
right.
selling the Ultimate Universe. It's not really selling as well as we thought.
No, it
So
had.
I can't make books with other characters in it because I will just be bleeding money.
That's right. It's
Oh, yeah.
unsustainable to keep bleeding the Ultimate line dry. You can get away with a couple. X-Men, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, and Ultimates, but diminishing returns with Ultimates because each volume of Ultimates gets more and more horrible.
And crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
the wall.
real crazy.
Did we do the one? We have not done Ultimates 2.
No.
No.
But I read that.
We did Ultimatum, right?
That's why we
did do
can't.
Ultimatum. Ultimatum was horrible, but all the Spider-Man stuff in Ultimatum, amazing. Still works. It's the best tie-in ever made.
Whoa.
Ultimate Spider-Man's Ultimatum, which we will eventually get to. So yeah, this is Kingpin's back. That's the one, and this is the one. And it's funny because I remember talking about it back when we did the Clone Saga. I'm like, oh man, Kingpin comes back, and I thought it was like they wait. No, it's this volume,
Yeah.
and it's really solid. A lot of fun, ridiculous shit happens in here. So let's get started. As we remember from the last one,
Does he walk out of the pier clutching the tablet in his hands?
no tablet. They forget about that. They're like,
you know what? Never
let's
mind
just
that
put it this
tablet.
way. It didn't work. You know, because as we established in that episode, that tablet falls like 2 inches from the edge of the pier. Like
Yeah.
you could just send.
You could just reach in
You
there.
could send one diver. You don't even need a team.
Yeah.
And to
You
get
pay a kid $10.
$10.
Hey, you're
and a
gonna find a
snorkel.
weird
breath.
stone, a weird stone at the bottom.
A bunch of hieroglyphs on it. Just grab it. I'll give you a free bike. It's nothing.
Oh, a Huffy Bike?
Yeah, Huffy Bike.
Yeah, it'd be like a contestant on the Legend of the Hidden Temple. In the Clone Saga, the house got wrecked because of all the bullshit.
Right.
And they blamed it on Norman Osborn. That was the cover story. They're like, oh, Norman Osborn got free, and he just went nuts. And everyone's like, that checks out.
Norman Osborn again. Yeah.
Oh, God, that Osborn, man. Ooh, he let it go. And it's like, that's fair. And you know what's funny about that? It never comes back to bite them. It's never like Osborn's like, you blamed all that on me! Like, no. And when he does inevitably come out, like, he's an asshole, and it's justified. People are like, there he is again, the guy who wrecked up Queens a
jerk.
couple years ago. What a douchebag. So we're dealing with the fallout of the Clone Saga, which is nothing. Like, everybody's fine, and their house got kind of wrecked, and Fury sent Damage Control to clean it up. And Damage Control in the Ultimate Universe is made up of the wrecking crew from
Wait,
the Marvel Universe.
That doesn't work.
No, yeah.
They
but
wreck things.
They wreck
Oh,
things.
yeah.
They're not controlling
Yeah, but
any
it's
damage.
topsy-turvy Ultimate
I know,
Universe.
Yeah. Well, like they use, because some of their names are like Pile Driver and so they
And Wrecking Ball.
Right, so like they use these tools for excavation and cleanup. Would stand to reason that they would use their powers for the same thing. I don't know. For me, it was a good synergy. I thought it worked out really well. But there they are. Peter Parker wants to get into the house because his Spider-Man costume's in there and his crap because he's living at Mary Jane's or whatever. And I don't know where the hell Aunt May's staying.
Oh, she's swinging around town, staying with a couple strangers.
She's hooking up with Miles Warren, the Jackal.
Well, she's staying at his place.
Yeah.
In one of his tubes.
Put me in the tubes again, Miles. And by the way, he doesn't like become the Jackal in this run. They just wrap
Right.
it. The Ultimate
He will, though.
Universe will die before we get the Jackal.
Yeah,
Thank
instead he's
God.
the
That's
rascal.
probably good.
That's
yeah.
fine. I'm fine. The rascal.
How does Spider-Man let it get to this point where it's like, oh no, my stuff's in there. Why didn't you just get it last night? Just
At night.
sneak in.
Why are you doing it now? Because
Yeah.
we need the scene with the
Right.
wrecking crew. Because I'm world building here, Ethan. Come on.
Okay.
So the wrecking crew's there. It's Peter's like, you gotta let me in. They're like, nobody can go in there. It's
Look at it. It's falling
It's a
apart.
hazard. Yeah,
it's
and he's like,
dangerous.
come on, my stuff's in there. Eventually, he lets them go. They relent. And so Peter leaves Mary Jane there and he goes in. One of the dudes like turns to Mary Jane and is like, hey. She's like, I am 15. He's like, just immediately turns away.
Never mind.
Never mind. Never happened.
I was being friendly. Hello.
Delete
Yeah.
that from my memory.
That never happened. Oh, that's right. Aunt May's still in the hospital.
Okay.
So Peter goes into his room. He grabs his stuff and he's just like, ugh. Like, I gotta break up with Kitty Pryde.
Oh yeah. It's not gonna go well.
It's not gonna.
There's gonna be a giant steel man who's gonna come to my house and break all my bones.
Yeah. So Peter and Mary Jane go to visit Aunt May in the hospital. Of course, May knows that Peter is Spider-Man again.
Yep.
So yay. You know, that's that cat's out of the bag. They're not talking about it. Well, they do talk about it, but Peter's like, use code. Please don't talk about it like out loud.
Right.
There's still nurses and
people
doctors
around.
that walk around here, and not everyone needs to know.
Exactly. Not everyone needs to know because I don't want to die or get murdered by the Kingpin. So while they're talking, the news conveniently does a broadcast about how Spider-Mania is gripping the city because Spider-Man has become the most popular superhero of the pantheon of superheroes that have emerged over the last 2 years.
Right.
GQ ranked him as number 3 of most
Tightest
fuckable-
buns, yeah. But so yeah, Spider-Man is the most popular he's ever been, at least in the cultural zeitgeist. Meanwhile, we cut to the Kingpin, who was moved back. He had crushed a man's head in a Spider-Man costume on camera, so he had to flee for a little while.
Oh, but then he just came back.
Yeah, well, like any rich, powerful person, he just was away for a while, and now he's back, and everything's fine.
I'm sorry, you're telling me that the Kingpin crushed someone's head in a Spider-Man costume?
Yeah, we did that episode.
Okay.
He put the mask on that guy.
On that person
and then
killed him. Yes, I was
Yeah.
thinking he was wearing the costume, and
Yeah.
I'm like, you are not Spider-Man.
No, Kingpin put
I
the
can
mask
tell
on.
the difference.
He was crushing his head and jerking off at the same time.
So, I don't understand though, were the charges against him dropped?
It's really vague.
He's the Kingpin?
It's just
I guess he just paid the prosecutors to not.
him conveniently being in Europe for a while allowed some of the heat to die down, and then he could use any of his various shell corporations to pay any various governmental institutions because he's not on S.H.I.E.L.D.'s radar because S.H.I.E.L.D. deals with supercrime, and he's just
Right.
a real criminal.
Right.
So we don't care. Nick Fury, if you're I experimented on myself and now I have wings, Nick Fury's you're in jail forever. That's just the end of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Kingpin's I crushed a man's head to death.
Nick's why would I care?
Yeah. Was the man a mutant in any way? No. Are you? No. Okay. Then I guess case closed.
I thought it was Spider-Man, but it's not.
No,
Oh,
he didn't
then
think
it's
it was
fine.
Spider-Man. He did it because he was fuck you.
No, I know. I'm saying that Nick is I thought it was Spider-Man.
Oh, I
but
thought
it's not.
Spider-Man was involved. It was
Never
just a
mind.
mask. I don't even care. Couldn't care less. Goodbye.
The thing about this is we're expected to just go along with it
Yes.
because in the real world that's what happens.
It's
no,
they don't.
No, it doesn't.
No. If
Or
Elon
it's never
Musk,
been tested. Yeah.
if Elon Musk murdered a man on camera,
Yeah.
he might not get away with it. Might not.
It's never been tested.
It hasn't been
I suppose.
tested that directly.
I can't.
But it's close.
Think of a
Here's the thing.
case.
I don't believe he would see the inside of a jail cell. Just personally for me, I don't think so.
He might not, but he wouldn't be able to come back.
Right.
That's the thing.
If he-
you
if he-
can't skip out and then come back and
What
it's
do
just
you mean
oh,
come
we
back?
just forgot about it.
No one knows where I am. I'm Elon Musk. I'll just pay people
I went
off
to
and say
Mars.
I wasn't here.
No, he would just go to Europe or Africa.
Yeah, I mean, you have to go somewhere we don't have extradition. That's
Yeah,
the thing.
that thing
And there
is
are
tough.
places. There are
Yeah.
places you can go, and I guess you could live like a king if you're Elon Musk or
Or the Kingpin.
the Kingpin.
I mean, he's living like a king now.
Well, Kingpin
Yeah.
doesn't care. He doesn't want to live out there. He wants to live here.
I know.
And that's how they get you.
Yeah.
We're getting more information about how Spider-Man is very popular, and this suit is explaining to Wilson Fisk Spider-Man, when he first showed up, I don't know if you remember this, but he was a wrestler. He was a sponsored wrestler.
Yeah.
On TV, and the company that owned it's very technical, but let's just say that through our various shell corporations, we owned the company that owned the wrestling company that produced Spider-Man. So technically, you own Spider-Man? You own his likeness and name? So
That's funny.
What do you want to do with it? And Wilson Fisk is like, are you fucking kidding me? Okay. Hang on. And it's funny because I love Fisk's plan, but then later it shifts and there's no explanation for it. It's just Bendis, because they're like, we could make trillions of dollars off of this.
Right. Just selling it straight up.
Just selling it. Yeah, but we could strategically come up with scarcity or make licensing deal. He goes, take every single offer. Every offer on the table. I want to turn it into the Smash Mouth of superhero identity.
I don't care what it's for.
I don't care what it's for. It's a Mountain Dew drink. It's a sub Mountain Dew drink. I don't care what it is. It's everything.
The dumber the better.
The dumber the better. The shittier the better.
It's a terrible insurance ad
Yeah.
at some used car lot.
I want
Do
it. And he's like, you want us to run the identity into the ground? And they're like, yes.
I want him on suction cups on people's windows.
That's right. So
what are you talking about? What character has that happened with?
I don't know. Pete and Mary Jane are waiting for the bus. Mary Jane is like, why are we waiting for the bus? You're Spider-Man. Let's just swing away. And he goes, I don't want to cross that line. She goes, what lines have we not crossed at this point? And I'm like, that's fair. Wait, are you guys fucking?
No.
It never comes up. Like there is a sequence. I don't remember if we covered it or not, but there is a conversation where they talk about it, and I love that because it like harkens back to the old days. Because I don't know if they do it anymore because I don't watch TV for children, unless they're cartoon shows from when I was a child.
Right.
But they used to like do an episode. Like I remember Doogie Howser had an episode where it was like about teen sex.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if we covered it or not, but there is an issue kind of like that where it's like, here is a frank and honest conversation about two consenting young adults who want to have sex with each other, and like, let's talk about it in a realistic or honest fashion.
Oh, and it also doesn't ruin their lives afterwards.
Right. Well, it's like they're being responsible. There's actually a great Static issue where they do that as well. Usually, like the Doogie Howser episode or the Spider-Man episode, they don't.
Yeah, they just end up not doing it.
They end up not doing it because it's like they're not mature enough for it yet.
Right.
And the real answer is it's because the
You can't have
the
that.
TV show is just like we can't have
This is
two
on prime
teens having
time.
sex and saying like that's fine.
That's
No.
okay. Yeah.
We can't.
And we
They have to be married first.
They don't even talk about the marriage thing, but they do go like, we're not going to do that in the Spider-Man comic either.
Yeah.
Let's just read between the lines, you know?
Yeah, and you see whatever you want to see.
Right, exactly. You want to believe they do it? Sure, go ahead. So Peter just puts a Spider-Man costume on and he just grabs Mary Jane and they swing away. It's like, fuck it.
Doesn't
Where does
that
he change? They're at a bus stop.
They go like behind an alley or something like that. And maybe that's a metaphor for the answer, right? What lines haven't we crossed yet? Spider-Man costume swinging across the city. Yeah. It's happening.
Isn't that bad for maintaining his secret identity?
Who even knows who that is? You know, they're swinging like this. That's the amount of time they're swinging past
I guess they don't know they're in a comic book where like one of their friends will
Might-
see.
like-
Why is Mary Jane with Spider-Man?
Couldn't
Who
she
could
just
that
put
be?
on a mask too?
You know, that's what Kitty did when Spider-Man and Kitty were dating and they were crime fighting at the same time. Like, she had to put on, like, an anonymous costume to
Yeah.
protect the identity. But, like, with Mary Jane, it's like, we're just going to the Baxter building. It's fine. So they go to the Fantastic Four, where Mary Jane could do some checkups, because, of course, she turned into a hairy Sasquatch goblin monster.
I forgot about that.
And they're all just palling around, you know, hey, everybody, hey, Mary Jane, what's going on? Like, we're establishing kind of some friendships here. Hey, Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four becoming pals. Mary Jane's a bigger part of Spider-Man's life. I love it because they have a back and forth where, you know, they're like, how you feeling? Anything new? She's like, no. And he goes, you have to tell them about the nightmares you're having. She's like, oh, come on. And they're like, nightmares? It's like, okay, so like, when at the end of the last arc, when Peter moved into my house, I looked in the mirror and I saw the Kane version of Peter as a reflection, but it was actually Peter, and it like freaked me out, and I had the shakes. And then they go like, oh, you have PTSD, that's fair, like that happens to me.
Yeah.
And then the Thing is like, yeah, one time we fought like the mole men, and I started seeing mole men everywhere. Like I would like go to the bathroom, mole men would come out of the toilet. Like it scared the shit out. And they're like, what? Ben, what? And he's
You
like,
never told us this.
Yeah, he's like, I
Oh,
felt
you never asked.
You never asked. Yeah, it bothered me for a long time. I don't know
What?
why.
You think because I have a rough exterior, I don't have emotions inside?
That is who the Thing is.
Yep.
So Peter's like, I gotta go to the Bugle and get fired because I haven't been there in like 2 volumes. So he goes there and like just on his computer is just a note that says like C. Jameson.
Yeah.
So he goes in. Jameson and Urich are arguing, and Peter's like, "Hey," and Jameson's like, "Oh, hey, I'm fired? Yeah, that's right. Hey, you're fired. Get the fuck out of here. You didn't show up for 2 weeks. Get the hell out of here. Welcome to the world, kid."
Yeah,
He's like,
fair.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he goes, "Okay, yeah." And
Okay.
He goes, no, dude, my mom, my aunt had a heart attack. My house got broken into by the Green Goblin. And he's like, what? And he's like, yeah, that happened. That was at my house. He's like,
What, you get any pictures?
yes. No. But he's like, wait, so and New York's like, wait, you were there? That was your house? Dude, I gotta interview you. Like, we gotta get an exclusive. Like, really, Norman Osborn? Are you sure
Huh.
it was Norman
Does that
Osborn?
kind of feel like
I
it's kind
am-
of like a...
Because it feels a little flimsy.
And just Peter just looks at him. I am sure it was Norman Osborn.
It was definitely 100%.
He just takes out the cards. Yes, it was Norman Osborn. Norman Osborn broke out of the Triskelion at 10:47 p.m. on November 13th. But yeah.
Why does that say shield on the back?
Don't worry about that. Jameson feels bad because he's like, wait, your aunt had a heart attack? Was she the woman who yelled at me on the phone a couple months back? He's like, yeah. He's like, all right, you're on fire. You're welcome.
Yeah. In
That'd
the
be
future,
hilarious.
though, you got a call.
Right, yes.
It'd be really funny if he still fired him. He's like, I'm
Well-
really sorry to hear about the heart attack and the fact you're broken into. Thank you for
sucks.
the interview. Get out. You're still
Now get the
fired.
fuck out of here because I need reliable people.
If
here.
you told me that you had an emergency
Right.
in the family, maybe you wouldn't be fired right now.
You are a webmaster for this company. You have email. You could have emailed me at any point, and you chose to come here physically?
Yeah.
That shows horrible lack of judgment, man. So anyway, then we cut back to like what's the Kingpin up to? He goes down to the parking garage, and he's with a bunch of hoods, a bunch of mooks who work for him, with
Yeah.
hired guns, and he's interviewing candidates because Elektra is dispatched. There's no more Elektra, so he needs a new fist.
Right.
He needs a new super person to like fight bad guys. Well,
Okay.
good guys that are bad to him.
Yeah.
And so we introduce this guy.
He looks like Iron Man.
He does, but he's got a big fist. He's like, well, you said you said you need to be your fist, so like I'm the fist.
Did you just invent that based on my call for?
Yeah, based on the LinkedIn
Yes.
post. And so they go downstairs and he's like, yeah, so who are you? He's like, I'm the fist. I kill people. And he goes, okay, kill him. Like the guy's with. And he's like, like right now? And he's like,
That's what I thought.
So who are you? Like, who are you really, and what are you doing here? And then he's like, kill this guy.
I work in your mailroom. I'm sorry.
Right?
I just wanted to move up.
Yeah. No, it's not. He would have killed that guy if that were the case. No, it's a superhero who's impersonating a bad guy to get in with the Kingpin, and it's Shang-Chi. Kingpin beats the shit out of him, takes his mask off, and he's like, so who are you exactly? And he's like, I'm Shang-Chi. And he goes, I barely cared. Throws him against the wall. And then he narrowly escapes, and he runs away, and he's being tailed by one of the guys, and right before the guy is about to call it in, he gets hit in the head with a baton, and Daredevil's there, and he's like, "Hey, Shang-Chi, I like your initiative, kid, but you're gonna need more moxie if you're gonna join the Ultimate Knights." He doesn't say the Ultimate
He
Knights.
needs more moxie?
Yeah,
More moxie than trying to impersonate a fake
I guess-
supervillain to
okay,
get into.
You got an overabundance of moxie, but more
You need to pull back.
intelligence.
Oh, okay. You need focused moxie.
Yeah, exactly. So Daredevil's planning something. What's he doing? He's recruiting. So Daredevil and Shang-Chi now. Whoa.
Is that a Daredevil thing? Recruiting?
No,
Okay.
not at all. This is a new thing. No one is doing anything with Daredevil. He had like a Marvel team-up story once, and that he's not really around. Like Ultimate Daredevil not only is a dickbag, but also is like no one has a great idea for him.
Yeah.
In the Ultimate Universe, like no one has like, dude, I'm gonna make my bones do an Ultimate Daredevil. Because the reality is, if you want to make your bones at Marvel, writing Daredevil, just write Daredevil.
Real
Like,
Daredevil.
no one is going to stop you from reinventing Daredevil. He gets reinvented every time somebody takes over Daredevil. Mary Jane and Peter like leave the Fantastic Four. Like Peter goes back to the Fantastic Four to pick up Mary Jane. They talk about the PTSD, and they're like, I would recommend you see a therapist. It's probably a good idea. So
You can always come back and just talk to me. I'm
Howdy.
Dr. Richards.
Yeah, I'm sure one of my doctorates is in therapy of some kind. But so they go to school and they're walking by, and this adult man named Matt Murdock walks up to them, and he's like, "Hello." And Peter's like, because Peter doesn't know who Daredevil is. So he just assumed this creepy adult man is walking up to him. Of course, if I were Peter at this point, I'd be like, okay, so you with S.H.I.E.L.D. or the Kingpin? Like,
Yeah, you're wearing a suit.
you know who I am. There's no way. No adult wants to talk to Peter Parker unless they
unless-
know I'm Spider-Man. So she leaves, and he's like, do you recognize my voice? And he's like, no. And he goes, what if I told you that one time I said that you were a stupid little baby boy who had no excuse being a superhero and that you should quit this immediately? And he's like, oh, you're Daredevil. He's like, that's right, bitch. So he goes, hey, man, you can't come to school like this right now. Like, you can't do this to
You're
me.
really messing things up for me
Yeah, you're
right
really
now.
fucking up my vibe, dude. Because like I barely have this shit on lockdown. It's like I wouldn't even call it lockdown. It's like barely airtight. Like, please don't do this.
The fact that I'm trying to keep my identity secret.
Right.
And more people know than before.
Right. He's like, how do you even know that I go here? He's like, the public at large thinks Spider-Man goes here because he keeps getting cited here. So I just came
I just
here.
walked around and looked for you.
That's it. I just walked around. Well, I listened for your heartbeat.
Oh,
'cause
right.
I know Spider-Man's heartbeat.
Right.
Like, Jesus, stupid Daredevil's friggin' powers.
How does that even work?
How could you
I
memorize every
memorized-
heart?
No, it's not
A little
every
faster,
heartbeat.
a little slower.
He recognizes certain heartbeats. Doesn't know them
I see.
all. Like
It's like, I'm
Spider-Man.
gonna remember
Spider-Man has
Spider-Man's
a
heartbeat.
stronger heart because it's accelerated by his spider abilities. Like it probably beats a little faster and it beats a little stronger than most hearts.
Yeah, instead of having like 4 chambers, it has like 16 or something. Like
Or
a spider
per
heart.
leg.
It's the heart is a
two
muscle.
delay.
All of his muscles are strengthened. His heart muscle, I would assume, is strengthened as well. Anyway, he goes, listen, meet me at 8 o'clock at the building across the street from St. Catherine's Cathedral. We are going to meet up. We're gonna have a big meeting, and I need you to be there. And he's like, what are we doing? He's like, we're gonna kill the Kingpin. 8 o'clock.
No, I'm not.
Right, but that's all we get.
Right.
8 o'clock. Don't be late. So he leaves. We meet up with. So then this is the volume where Bendis is like, all right, so I'm gonna do my greatest hits, because at this point it's 2007. Ultimate Jessica Jones. You know, Alias.
Yeah.
What? She's a senior and she's like she works for the
What?
newspaper.
No.
Yeah.
That's weird.
She works for the school TV news station, and she's like trying to get people to like join because, like any good media club, it's devoid of involvement and people's interest.
Right. Is she
Meanwhile,
a former superhero in this too?
no.
Oh.
No, in this, I think the implication here, because, okay, so according to Bendis' retcons, Jessica Jones went to high school with young Peter Parker, but then got into a car accident, which got her powers, and was in a coma for a while, and then had to change schools. But before she got powers, she had a crush on Peter. And that was his like retcon.
Oh. So we're doing that. It's like a prequel.
Except she's not interested in Peter. She doesn't even know who he is. But she is going to the same high school as him.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's like, Jessica Jones, man, what?
Well, didn't he invent her?
He did, but like,
So, like, yeah.
Well, but then there's another one that he invented, and you're like, what? What are you doing? But also, Bendis wrote Daredevil and put him back on the map after Kevin Smith did. So it's like, here's Daredevil too. Like, here's my Daredevil.
I thought you were going to say
Here's
you put him
everyone
back
I
on the
work
menu.
with. All
It's
my
like
fun
Daredevil's
characters.
back on our menu, boys. Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, but like, why?
I agree. It doesn't make sense.
She's a great character.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Jessica Jones is a great character in the regular Marvel universe.
Yeah, but she
And
shouldn't
here
be a
too.
footnote in
no,
this.
she is a footnote in this. She is garbage.
She's everywhere.
She's in this, and then she never really comes up ever again. If she does, only in as much as she shows up and says, "I'm Jessica Jones," and we never see her in any
This
plot.
would be like if Mary Jane was babysitting Franklin Richards and didn't know it was the Richards kid.
Right.
Like she had no interaction with them before.
Yeah, and Franklin Richards was never paid off and did anything at any point in any of the in any of the comics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then one day, like, she turns into a Sasquatch monster.
Yeah.
And she's like, wait, these are your parents?
Right.
I never knew.
Yeah, except there's no line to draw. In this, it's Jessica Jones. We know, but nothing ever comes up.
Yeah.
It's just that she's in the book, and we're like, okay.
Oh, I don't write under that. I write under an alias, though.
Oh. Not even close. They don't even do that. They don't even do that. So Pete and Mary Jane do their 2007 equivalent of texting, which is they write on their own notebooks and just point at each other.
Which means everyone's reading their notes.
Exactly. But she's like, who is that? He's like, it was Daredevil. It's a long story. And then she goes, hey, listen, like, regardless, forget about Daredevil. Did you dump Kitty yet? And he's like, and then the principal shows up and goes, ladies and gentlemen, Kitty Pryde is going to be in this class from now on.
Oh my God.
What?
She has a great look on her face. I love it. Bagley is really good at expressions in the Ultimate Universe. Her look was just like, I'm in the book. It's like Debbie Downer.
It's like she didn't want to be here to begin with.
Yeah.
Oh man, what?
Did she get kicked out of the Xavier Academy or something?
She'll explain it. She'll
Okay.
explain it. But here she. Oh, look at
boy.
this bucket of syrup for Spider-Man. You're talking about a sticky situation. Am
Wait a
I
minute.
right?
Wait a minute. Do people know she's
Yep.
okay?
Yep.
Yeah, she's just.
Oh yeah. No, it
Kitty Pryde, the
fucks
X-Man.
everything up because
Yeah,
like.
everyone's like, oh my god.
Oh my god! Yeah, immediately she shows up. I love that Kong. You remember Kenny, the bald
Yeah.
friend that looks like
Yeah.
Bendis? Is it this? He's like, boy, yo, 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 yo. Like, he's so into her. Yes, because she's a mutant, but also like, she's awesome. But they're all just like, "Blah!" Like they all just like say the line, Bart. Like they're all looking at it. They're like, you were in the X-Men. What is up? Like, tell us about it. What happened? And she's like, I had to go. My mom lives in this neighborhood, so I guess I go to this school.
What? That doesn't explain anything.
Well, I had to leave. Like, I got kicked out.
You got kicked out of the X-Men.
Yeah.
Why?
That's established in the last volume.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she tries to get Professor X to mind wipe Aunt May, and then when Professor X won't do it, she goes,
yeah.
"I hate you," and Professor X, "Get the fuck out of here!
That's right.
You can't hate me.
How dare you!"
All the X-Men love me. You're not an X-Men anymore.
Yeah, I know
You know
what
what?
you're
I marked your mind.
thinking. Now, yeah, how about you? Now you're a baby.
Yeah. Yeah, now you don't hate me. You don't hate anything. You don't know anything.
You don't even know anything. Here's some feed. No, it's just like, does Professor X always have to be the worst? It's just, I don't even know if he is. Like,
Yeah.
I think.
What do I know about Professor X? He's really smart, he's bold, and he's a fucker.
Right.
In every universe.
In every universe.
I kicked her out of the X-Men, and also I made her like the clarinet.
Yeah. There is a sequence where we don't even know what the interaction was, and I like to believe, because Kitty Pryde is a volatile person, that maybe she misinterpreted the situation. You know, I mean, she said, "I hate you" to the professor. It was a grown-ass man dealing with like a 14-year-old girl. I could imagine him being like, "Okay." Like, just
Right.
not taking it to heart.
This is not my problem.
I would be severely disappointed in the Martin Luther King Jr. of the Marvel Universe if a 14-year-old girl told them that they hated him, and he was like, "Get the fuck out of my sight and never come back."
You're expelled.
Dude, like, get your priorities in order.
Rule number 1 of the Xavier School. You
fuck with
love Professor Xavier.
Yeah.
If
Rule
you ever
number
don't, you're out.
Rule number 2, you fucking love Professor Charles Xavier. No, there's no way. She was like, "I fucking hate you," and he's like, "Okay, I don't even want to talk to you right
He's
now."
like, oh.
Yeah, and she's like, "I got kicked out because I felt like I didn't want to be, because I felt like I wasn't welcome there anymore."
Yeah, because I couldn't bear to like the
and I
embarrassment.
also-
of,
Not
like,
everyone agreed with me.
Yeah. I also may have taken a shit on his desk in the night, and he may have had Wolverine figure out it was me. Maybe. That might have something to do with it.
So you
It
mean
might
you
have been the
can't
fact
show
that-
your face there again? That's very different.
That's very different, but understandable.
He just walks in, or I should say,
Yeah,
he
he rolls in.
and like the turd is just floating in the air. You can't explain this.
I thought you meant he rolls into this classroom. Whatever she's saying is horseshit.
She didn't get kicked
Professor
out for the
Xavier!
record. We don't kick people out
We don't
just
kick
because they
them-
get mad.
Yeah, please. By the way, if anyone here is a mutant, there's an open slot at the Xavier Institute.
Tryouts this Friday.
So anyway, they make her show off her powers, and she does, and they're all like, "Whoa!" Except for Liz Allen, who it was like previously established about like 11 volumes ago that she is an anti-mutant person.
Right. She's an anti-mutite.
Yeah,
Well, it's also
right.
funny because Kitty's Jewish.
yeah. So she's like, "You think you're better than us then?" She's like, "No."
What?
And she's like, "You call yourself Homo superior?" And she's like, "Yeah."
Oh.
She's like, "Well, I didn't invent that term."
Yeah. Why? I don't call us.
She goes,
that.
"Well, you're not arguing with it." And she's like, "All right."
Okay.
So
I call myself Kitty. Is what I call myself.
exactly. So Jessica Jones immediately is like, "What a scoop!" and tries to interview her, and then she just, she's just having a really miserable time. She's also in the class, like she sits down. Her teacher's like, "Please, Mr. Pryde, just sit down," and everyone's like bothering her. And then she's sitting next to Peter, and Peter's just like, just looking at his desk, like. So
There are no other open seats. Come on.
yeah, so Jessica Jones is like, "So did you and Spider-Man break up? Are you guys like together anymore? Like, what's going on here?" And she runs out of the room, and
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, she is a stable person.
Oh,
yeah, so she runs out of there, and the teacher.
She runs through other students.
Yeah.
If I was the teacher, I'd be like, no.
Okay.
We're not doing that in my classroom.
I'm
You're
like-
very disruptive.
That's incredibly disruptive and a little bit more than traumatizing.
Meanwhile, Kong's like, I am in love.
Run through me. So the teacher like slams his book down. He's like, "You guys are all a bunch of jerks. Like all she did was like she indulged your bullshit questions and you just kept at her. Like, what's wrong with all of you?" And it's like,
What kind of teacher are you? Why were you even allowing this circus to go on? You should have been like, everyone take your seats.
Yeah.
Leave her alone.
You
no
will respect the
questions.
name Professor Warren in this
Yeah.
classroom.
You can
he's
all-
not Professor Warren. Miles
Damn it.
Warren's I think he's like a psychiatrist in this universe or whatever.
damn.
Doesn't matter.
That would have been hilarious.
Yeah. No, he's just some dude.
It's like, let's see what happens.
see what's
Let's
going-
let the students run the class.
Oh, the monkeys have keys to an amusement park. Then there's like this allusion to like, oh shit going on, where Jessica Jones took a picture with her phone during that whole charade
Oh.
of Peter Parker looking really sad.
Because she's in love with him, you see.
Right, what does that mean? Fucking nothing, it never comes up.
Oh.
Classic Bendis. He's like, I don't know, I got a lot of plates in the air. What do you want from me? I'm literally setting Marvel on fire in the main universe, and I'm trying to maintain this little like CW psychodrama about children with powers. Like, give me a break.
It's just like the J.J. Abrams of fucking comic books.
Exactly. He's like, oh, well, I think it's, I can imagine Bendis being like, he's just setting himself up for like all these different spikes. Like, okay, I'll eventually knock these down over the net at some point, but nah.
No.
Yeah, and then he walks away, and they all just fall.
Yeah. Well, eventually he hits some of them.
Yeah, he hits some of them. That's what he
really
helps you
obvious
remember.
ones. Yeah, exactly. You remember the big ones, but not these. Not the cell phone images of Peter Parker from Jessica Jones, because Jessica Jones is inconsequential to this universe.
It'd be funny if he's like, no, I'm not paying that off now. I'm going to pay that off in 13 volumes.
Dude, I mean, like, now that Bendis' stock has significantly depreciated over at DC, he can come back to Marvel, he can finish Ultimate Spider-Man, and bring back Jessica Jones, and boom! Except his identity was already revealed. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so Peter and Mary Jane are like going to their spot where they go usually make out in the bleachers, and Kitty's there.
Oh. Did he bring Kitty to that spot too?
I don't think so.
Yeah, because she never met him at school.
No. Well, she did meet him, but like outside to leave. But Mary Jane's like, she's sitting on our spot. I'm getting a little PO'd here. But,
you want to make out somewhere else? I'm
right.
fine with that too.
She's like, you have to go break up with her now. Go over there. He's like, all right, I gotta go.
Okay.
I gotta go talk to her. So he goes over there to talk to her, and she's like, go away.
MJ, will you come with me and help me break up with her?
He should, because he's really bad at it.
Oh boy.
So he's just like, hey, I was trying to call you, and she's like, well, you should have come out to Westchester and told me that you were getting back together. And he's like, well, I was a little busy. I got cloned. His shield showed up at my door.
Oh god.
And then my aunt had a heart attack, and she's like, I know, we tried to help you. And so she explains, like, I sent the X-Men to like fucking deal with this. Like, we dispatched to help you. He's like, oh. She's like, yeah, you feel bad now? And he's like, yeah, I feel bad all the time. I'm Peter Parker.
That's my superpower.
That would be a great thing to say.
Right, he just says, yeah. And she goes, good. Because, she also says, like, I tried to get Professor X to, like, wipe Aunt May's mind. And he goes, that would have been a real gross violation of anyone's privacy. I'm glad he didn't do that. I didn't want him to do that. Like, I didn't want Aunt May to know, but now that she does, like, I have to deal with it. These are the things that happen in real life. And, like, when things happen, you have to deal with them. It's about responsibility.
It's like, not if you can walk through walls.
Peter.
Or have a psychic as your headmaster.
When things happen, you have to deal with them, like breaking up with a girl before getting together with another.
There's apples and oranges here, okay? But she goes,
this isn't about me.
yeah. Well, yeah. Well, she goes, you've been in love with Mary Jane the entire time, and then you just found this opportunity to be with her, and you were snuggling noses. And he's like, listen, it's not about you. And she goes, oh, I'm sorry, it's not about me. I didn't realize.
So
it was
you
about
breaking
me.
up with me isn't about me.
Right. He's like, you don't get it. Like, I almost lost her. She almost died. And he's like, I made a mistake. And she goes, oh, am I the mistake? Can I be the big mistake, please? Because that would make me feel so much better than I already do.
Oh boy.
And he's like, I can't. She's like, I can't wait until we're seniors, and then we can write in each other's yearbooks that I was your big mistake. And she grabs her bag and runs away. And he's like, that went well. Mary Jane, meanwhile, has like a twitchy moment. Is she gonna become a hairy goblin?
Oh, she's Sasquatching out.
Yeah, one day, but not in this volume. It doesn't matter. So Peter goes to visit Aunt May in the hospital. She's asleep, and he's just like, wasn't always like this. He doesn't go back.
He's thinking. He's not talking out loud.
No, he's just thinking. But he's like, whew. Like, I think I've been going 100 miles per hour since I got bit by the spider. Like, I could use a vacation. What I really shouldn't do is go meet Daredevil at 8 o'clock. I should not go there. It is not a good idea.
Nope.
And then he goes. And he proceeds to do one of my favorite things in the Ultimate Spider-Man saga of all time. He arrives and he looks on the roof and he sees that, like, Shang-Chi, Iron Fist, Doctor Strange, Daredevil, and Moon Knight are all in a little circle talking.
Wow.
Yeah, Daredevil's been busy. And by the way, Doctor Strange, he looks exactly the same, but he's younger, and I think his father was Sorcerer Supreme in this universe. And Doctor Strange is like he's like a celebrity. He's been on TV. It's like, oh, and today we got Doctor Strange on. He's gonna lift something with his mind and shit. Like, he's like the Amazing Kreskin and an actual sorcerer all in one.
Okay.
And so yeah, but Shang-Chi and Iron Fist are friends. Like, they work together in this universe, and that's all you need to know, because nobody cares and nobody bothers to explain it.
Right.
And also Moon Knight, he's just out of his mind.
That's hilarious that Shang-Chi showed up as the Fist, where you have Iron Fist in the book.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Oh, yeah.
So then he's like, and there's Daredevil, who's a load, but he doesn't even have that stupid power he talked about. And then Daredevil just turns around. He's like, come on. Like, I can hear you, come on. So then Spider-Man just drops down in the middle of them, and they're all like, ah! And Moon Knight immediately grabs his moon blades, and he goes, put the blades away, Mooney, I'm just here for the chicken wings. And Moon Knight goes, but there are no chicken wings. And Spider-Man goes, wow! There are no chicken wings, he says! My favorite moment in the whole thing. There are no chicken wings! Doctor Strange's like, hey, Spider-Man, I think we may have teamed up in one of our weird, like, Marvel team-up books that, like, nobody read. And he's like, yeah, I think we did.
Oh.
And Shang-Chi and the other guy. And he's like,
yeah,
I'm Iron
you.
Fist. He's like, okay.
Sure.
He's like, okay, so what are we doing? Daredevil's like, look, we all live in New York. We're all superheroes. Let's just go fucking kill the king. Let's just go fucking kill him.
Couldn't you just kill him yourself? You're fucking Daredevil. If
Yeah.
you want to kill people, you just can.
No. I can't kill him. I can just put together a team that kills him, and someone else can kill him.
Right.
And it'll be on their soul,
Right.
not
Right.
mine.
Or we'll all kill him at the same time, and then
So-
we'll only have like 1/6 killed him.
Yeah, now you're thinking like a lawyer. I don't know. I feel like this one is like, he is Catholic, but like, again, nobody's building up an entire Daredevil mythology, so like nobody gives a
Right.
shit. He's like, fuck it. But yes, he could just go kill him. And so he's like,
Meanwhile, while they're having this conversation, the Punisher has already killed him.
yeah, they don't call Punisher, and I think it's just because Bendis has nothing but disdain for the Punisher. Every time, and we talked about this before, every time Punisher shows up, he never has a line. If he does have a line, it's grr. He's just this drooling psychopath. Blah, I'm Punisher. I got a fucking skull on my t-shirt. I want to fucking solve problems. And it's just like, you're an asshole. Like, I appreciate it. You know what? There's a lot. The comic books are a wide scope. You could have many different like you could have different variations on everything.
Yeah.
You could have Garth Ennis being like the only fucking cool one is Punisher, or you could have somebody like Bendis who's like the only asshole in the entire pantheon is Punisher because he's just a douche who just shoots people. Like, what an asshole.
Yeah, that ain't a power,
That
man.
ain't a power. That's a fucking gift card to Hot Topic. Anyway, they're talking, and he's just like, so you're going to kill him. I'm like, that's what you said. You told me at my school that you were going to kill him. And he's like, we live in a grown-up world. We have to make grown-up solutions. And he goes, first of all, that wouldn't solve anything. You kill him, and then you just create a power vacuum where someone else shows up. And Daredevil's like, or it sends a message that like whoever does occupy that is going to get fucking killed by the rest of us.
Yeah, that's not usually what happens.
Right. And then Daredevil...
Wait a minute. I've seen criminals go to jail before. I shouldn't be a criminal anymore.
Oh my god!
Oh, my life's all turned around.
Yeah, wow. If only we had some kind of like large-scale campaign that could educate the populace about this.
Sadly, nothing exists.
I love it because Hitler comes up and it's like, you've lost the argument. Because they killed Hitler and that was it for the Third Reich. I'm like, they didn't kill Hitler. Hitler killed Hitler.
Yeah, and the Third Reich was already completely destroyed.
Exactly, and they needed to kill multiple other members of the Third Reich.
Well, yeah.
What a childishly simplistic analogy.
And
really
people
funny.
still follow that ideology.
Yeah, like, you fucking idiot. Anyway, so Doctor Strange's like, I don't want to kill anybody either, honestly. Like, I was just kind of
I'm
like,
with Spider-Man.
I'm kind of with Spider-Man on this one. Like, I'm a celebrity. I can't murder anybody. It'll really look bad for me.
If you do want me to take his spirit out of his body and really fuck with him mentally, I could do that.
I wish he could. This Doctor Strange is like young and inexperienced. Like, he doesn't know how to do all those things. But yeah, Doctor Strange could immediately. Doctor Strange does not join the Ultimate Knights to take down crime lords. If he did, he'd be like, okay, I go as my last astral form. I pull his soul out. I drop it off of Mephisto, and I leave. There. Now he's in a coma or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. That's worse.
No,
Who sent him to hell?
He just has to go into
He
hell
was going there anyway.
and experience all the stuff that he did to people
Right,
and the
then
torment.
if and when his soul escapes, he'll come back and he'll feel bad.
And he'll have learned a lesson.
I don't think he's gonna learn a lesson.
Anyway, so but he does say, listen, if one of you kills him, I'd be the first one to spit on his severed head. Like
Look, if he's already dead.
I like the idea of him dying, but I don't want to be the one to kill him. And Spider-Man's like, you guys, we have to represent something. And Daredevil goes, oh, we will. And Spider-Man says something loftier, which I really like. It's just, that is Spider-Man. That's something that like Marvel has really gotten away from with this character, especially in the main universe, for a long time. Every once in a while, some writer remembers and puts it in like an event, which no one fucking remembers. But in the main book, like Spider-Man gives more speeches than Captain America. The Captain America speech that everybody remembers about like planting yourself like a tree and don't move, that's in a fucking Spider-Man comic. So
Yeah, but Cap says it.
he does say it in that issue, but he's saying it to Spider-Man. So Moon Knight is like, grow up. And Spider-Man goes, okay, I hate to be the wet blanket of the group, but I will. If any of you kill the Kingpin, I will tell on you. Like a child, I'll make a big stink and I'll tell on all of you because I'm not going to let it happen. And Daredevil's like, oh, you're not? And he goes, and you better not come to my fucking school ever again. Because if you do, things are going to go down, and I don't think you're going to like how they go down.
Oh.
Which is really dope. Because he's like, don't forget, I can bench press all of you combined. Like, don't fuck with me. But I love Spider-Man just being like, he is a full foot shorter than Daredevil. And he's like, if you ever come to my school again, I'm going to slap you silly. And Daredevil goes, look at you.
He's also like 15. He's like, no, I'm standing up for shit.
Yeah, and these guys
is
like,
great.
hey, we're a bunch of fucking 30-year-olds. Let's go murder a man in his house. And he's like,
Meanwhile, most 15-year-olds would just be like, oh, I want to fit in with the cool kids.
yeah.
let's
this
fucking
one's like-
let's fucking kill him.
Yeah, right. And he's like, dude, what he doesn't say, and what I think is also at the subtext of Spider-Man is like, if you do, they'll shoot me.
Yeah. It'll be open season on Suits.
Right, and I'm the most popular one.
Yeah.
So he's like, so Daredevil's like, okay, well, tabling the murder plan. Shang-Chi had an idea, which was to infiltrate Fisk, and then maybe instead of like murdering him as his like right-hand enforcer, we could gather information about him and then give it to the police and he'll be arrested. Whatever the hell that means. You're a fucking lawyer. But
Well, in Daredevil's defense, he
doesn't
fucking
work.
killed someone on TV, and apparently that wasn't enough for him to go to jail.
Yeah.
So why would this plan be any better?
yeah, they don't bring that up.
Because everyone forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they all talk about like who could impersonate him, and Shang-Chi's like, well, they saw my face. And Doctor
Right.
Strange's like, I'm not gonna do it. Spider-Man's like, I have homework. And Moon Knight's like, I guess I could do it because I'm expendable. I'm Moon Knight, after all. And so they're like, you could create a new identity and be that guy.
Oh.
And it's like, why do we need to jump to creating identities? Just put on a different outfit. Like, why do we have to? Why do we have to?
No, you gotta believe it.
And that's exactly what happens.
Yep.
So
Or he could
Well-
just be like, I'm Moon Knight, and I'm sick and tired of being a good guy.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no. Instead, they plan.
I'm the dark side of the Moon Knight.
Yeah, I'm Midnight now. Hey, Midnight, bring it back.
Oh.
But then Iron Fist is explaining this whole thing. He's just like, okay, so we will get into his operations and hit him where it hurts. It's gonna be Moon Knight, and he's being asked questions like, "What's Daredevil's real name?" And he's like, "I don't know yet." Shang-Chi knows what it is, but he doesn't tell me yet. And he's like, and the kid, I think he's like 13, but he's a real dickhead. And Kingpin's like, he's older than 13, but yeah. And he goes, so that's it? It's a deal? Like we got a deal here? Like I don't want to go back to prison. I have a daughter now. And Kingpin goes, well, Danny Rand, Iron Fist, you certainly have earned my friendship. Fucker sold out the Ultimate Knights immediately.
Wow.
He's got a daughter, you see.
Okay.
You understand, my child.
That's the whole
You
plot
could
of
have
Spider-Man.
just stayed out of it.
Spider-Man 3 is the whole plot is my daughter.
Yeah.
I have a daughter. I have a locket. I have this locket. The
Okay.
locket, movie conventions. It has the person.
What
in
about
it.
her?
I have one.
No.
I'm not a bad person.
Okay.
Anyway, so Kingpin is just standing over his wife Vanessa. Hey, Vanessa.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
the first. Well, we saw Vanessa in the
Vanessa.
Yeah,
with the tablet.
previously. Maybe that's why he's like, no, I'll accept Danny. He's got a daughter.
He's got a daughter,
I
I got
have
a
a wife.
Yeah, we're all taking care of somebody. So then we go into Moon Knight's mind, and we see Moon Knight's personalities. You got Mark Spector and Stephen Grant, and a little red-haired girl.
Oh.
The Phoenix?
Sure.
Could be.
It doesn't like one of Moon Knight's personalities is a small girl,
Huh.
and this is Bendis being like, "Whoa, didn't see that one coming."
Yeah.
Who's this?
Who the fuck cares? And you know what? You know who doesn't care? Everybody, because there's
Yeah.
never a Moon Knight book. It's never paid off.
Right.
We never find out who the little girl is. Doesn't matter.
Does
So
she
it's
have
just
influence
lame?
over?
Yeah, she's like the most powerful one. Like
Oh.
also
it's like the opposite of what you'd expect.
yeah. Also, Moon Knight is a personality. Like Moon Knight is a guy.
What?
He's like, yeah, I'm Moon Knight.
What?
Oh.
No.
Yeah, no, Moon Knight's a guy.
Is he in there with them?
Yeah, right here. Hey.
Oh.
And he's like the dominant personality. That's what
see.
makes him put on a Moon Knight costume is the fact that he thinks he's Moon Knight.
So if the little girl with the dominant personality, he put on a little wig
He'd be
and a
like,
dress.
"Look, hello."
We're not gonna kill Kingpin. I don't think that's a good idea.
Like, what the fuck are you doing, Moon Knight?
Can I have ice cream, please?
What the fuck is happening? I'm like waiting for that, and it never comes.
That'd be really funny.
I would
That's
love that.
the best thing you could do with this idea.
Yeah, but also you're making fun of people with mental illness because like that's not happening.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so they're like, okay, well let's create another personality, and that personality will be the guy that Kingpin needs.
What?
Yeah.
Create a person? No.
Yeah.
And that's the little
That's
girl's
not how
like,
that works.
The little girl's like, we're not gonna do that. That's a terrible idea. But also like that is not how that works. But it is how it works here. So they're like,
So then someone just shows up
Yeah.
in the playground?
yeah,
Yep.
new character, Ronin.
Oh.
Bendis created him a few years earlier, but now here's Ultimate Ronin. Jessica Jones, Ronin. Hey, Ronin. So Ronin's there, and he's in the same parking garage. He's got a bunch of dudes around. Kingpin's like, okay, so what do you do, Ronin?
This is a weird question. By creating Ronin and having him be a bad guy for Kingpin,
Yeah.
is Ronin actually
Yes.
a bad guy?
Yes.
What was the point then?
Because there's enough other personalities, maybe they'll jump him in his mind. Like,
Yeah.
They're like, well, as long as Moon Knight is stronger, but like if the Ronin personality gets too strong, he'll be able to like make us go away. And it's like, what the
This
very
was
high-risk
bad
plan.
idea.
terrible plan.
There's 1,000 ways this could go wrong.
Right? Like, no, can't we just have
Jeez.
Shang-Chi try again?
No. In order to like tell a convincing lie, you gotta believe it.
Right.
And who could believe it more than someone who like thinks that there's another person inside them?
Bingo.
Who's
It's the old-
taking over?
Because there is apparently.
The old George Costanza proverb: "It's not a lie if you believe it." So, he's Ronin, and he's like, "What do you do?" And he goes, "Whatever needs to be done." He goes, "Okay, prove yourself." So he beats the shit out of everybody there except for Kingpin. He goes, "That's not what I meant, but okay, cool, that's great."
What do you mean, prove it?
So they go, "Okay, well,
I'll write it down on a piece of paper. I'll do anything you need.
yeah, okay,
Signed, Ronin.
I'm gonna hold you to it."
I got this letter now.
Okay.
Now we can do business.
Word is bond, Ronin. So they're like, well, we checked him out. His name's Mark Spector. He's an ex-Navy SEAL. Yeah, he seems good. Bendis drops a bunch of random stuff where he's like, his name used to be Paladin. And Paladin was a kind of like mercenary anti-hero character in the old Marvel universe. So it's like, oh, we're just going to name drop Paladin. Mark Spector had been Paladin before. Maybe that was a personality they invented.
Oh, okay.
And then they killed him and threw him in the...
I just want to make sure it wasn't like some other superhero they were giving to Mark Spector.
I mean, they are. That's what he was in this. But but he worked for Roxxon before Roxxon fell apart. And Kingpin's like, was Roxxon as big of an idiot as I thought he was? And he goes, I get paid to act, not gossip. He goes, okay.
I'm paying you now to gossip.
Well, no, he
Give
just,
me the juicy details.
right? No, he goes, Spider-Man, ruin his life and bring him to me. He's like, okay. So then we cut to Mary Jane, who is doing a TV news report, like April fucking O'Neil,
What?
where she talks about Spider-Man in the school. She's like, I'm Mary Jane Watson for the Midtown High News, and we're doing a special about Spider-Man. So she's interviewing people about Spider-Man, like Flash Thompson and the principal, and the principal's just like, yeah, so like he gives a fireable answer about Spider-Man. Like if it were principal of a real school and he said something like, if Spider-Man actually goes here, I'd be very proud of him and I'd want him to like keep doing what he's doing, but keep it off school grounds.
Oh.
Right.
Like no, because he's like, Spider-Man is responsible for like 2/3 of our budget because of how many times our school blows up, and but one time like he saved my wife or my sister or something, and yeah,
And that's pretty cool, I guess.
yeah.
Okay.
So she's like, there you go, he's great. And then
I didn't say that. I said he's good.
no. I'm extrapolating from all this. I'm editorializing. So then she shows it to like the head of the AV department, and Jessica Jones is like, you made this by yourself? She's like, yeah. She goes, nobody helped you do it? She's like, no. How old are you? I'm gonna be 16 in a month. You're 15 years old. I'm 17 and I haven't done anything with my life. And this child just made a real news report. I hate you forever.
You're 17.
Right. Honey,
She made a puff piece about Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's not called a news report.
Exactly.
And I gotta tell you, she has an inside source.
Exactly. But oh no, trouble's a brewing with Jessica Jones. Don't worry, it's never paid off. It never comes up.
Oh,
It's just like, what? So anyway,
weird.
Mary Jane and Peter are talking at the locker. She's like wallowing in her own like achievements. She's like, oh man, eat it, Ben Urich. I'm the man now.
Is it possible she just doesn't like her piece because she knows that she's dating Peter?
No, she hates it because like Mary Jane just outshined her.
Right.
She's like, I've been trying. I was recruiting in your class for the AV club, and then to show me up in a day, you made a better thing for my club than I ever have.
You know, it'd be hilarious if it was the newspaper for the school, and she's like, "No, this is a newspaper. This is a video article.
Right.
I
can't publish this.
Put this on anything."
Exactly. So, Kitty walks by, and they're like, "Oh, hey, Kitty, what's up?" She's like, "No." And Liz goes, "She should go back to where she came from." And they're like, "Hey."
Hey, don't say that. You can't say
Literally,
that.
Mary Jane's just like, "Hey, I'm gonna need you to dial back your racism by like 100%, because like, even if it were acceptable for you to say that, she's also Jewish."
Yeah. And where is it that she came from?
Exactly. She's like, "It's just gross. You're disgusting." She's like, "You're an idiot." Meanwhile, Mark Spector hotwires a bus and drives it into the school.
What?
Bus smashes through the wall. All of the personalities like, "Hey, what are you doing, Ronin?" Then Ronin
you're going off book.
Ronin pulls out an Uzi and just starts shooting it into the school, going, "Spider-Man, I want to talk to you."
What?
No!
Oh my god.
Thank God it wasn't him pulling out the Uzi in the Mindscape, and he's like, "I murdered all these."
Yeah, I thought that's where that was
no,
going.
he's doing it in a school.
It's like, I'm taking over the mind here.
Such a problem.
That's so messed up.
So messed up. And you know, like,
wow.
a couple years earlier, JMS did a story in the original Spider-Man book where like a school shooting takes place where Peter works, and it's like, it's handled way better.
Right.
Like, one is
This
is
I mean, he's using a gun at a school,
which is 100% not okay.
which is terrible.
Yeah. He's
But-
not shooting anyone at the school.
Exactly.
But he is firing it in a school.
I would say the Goblin throwing fireballs at students is worse.
Yeah,
Well,
but that student was Spider-Man.
It is, except it's more divorced from reality because it's a goblin.
Right. Like
throwing
a
fireballs.
goblin making snot bombs is no. This is an Uzi.
If that
in a
had
school.
really happened in real life, that would also be arguably inappropriate.
That's true. I find the concept of a gun in a school morally repugnant. I appreciate it in here because it is so. This is one of those things where I'm like, I'm okay with it because it's fiction, and it's like, it is a shocking moment.
Yeah.
It is like,
It's also like a crazy guy
he
with
also
like
drives
a
the
like a
bus into the
costume
school.
on and
It's all
stuff.
bad.
yeah, no, it's true. But the gun in the school is where I'm like, guns don't belong in schools. So anyway, he's just shooting it, and like the sprinklers going off. It's pandemonium, and like so. Kitty Pryde is like, I guess I should thank you because I've been looking for somebody to fucking hit. And so she attacks Ronin, and Ronin basically just like hits her. He shoots a fire extinguisher in her face and then hits her in the head with the fire extinguisher.
Oh.
She talks a big game about being trained by Wolverine and then is immediately dispatched by a like fifth personality of Moon Knight.
I'm like 3 days old and I beat you up.
But Spider-Man just goes, "I'm not even gonna make a fucking joke at your expense. You are an idiot," and just beats the shit out of him. "I hope prison sucks for you," is what he says. But while he punches him, like, it's being mirrored in his mind where Moon Knight is beating up Ronin.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Until ultimately Ronin does defeat Spider-Man. Like, Ronin hits
What?
Spider-Man with a tranq dart and then gets the upper hand of Moon Knight and then chokes out Moon Knight and knocks him down. And then the other three personalities are like, "Oh no, Ronin's in charge." So Ronin like knocks out Spider-Man, grabs him, takes his own web shooter and uses it to swing out of there.
Huh. So Ronin,
Beat
Moon
Spider-Man.
Knight beats Spider-Man.
Does he know to use 30 times the tranquilizer?
Right, he actually probably does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad because like Kitty, of course, she was like hit in the face with a fire extinguisher. She's on the ground. Police are dispatched. Police have their guns drawn on her.
Meanwhile, she's like, "I've never been hit before."
That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, like, it's just double standards.
Yep.
She's a mutant. Oh,
Yep. Oh,
powers.
this is the problem.
So
What did you do?
Ronin like drops Spider-Man off at Kingpin. Boom, here you go.
Well, that was the worst plan ever.
Horrible. Meanwhile, Matt Murdock is in a deposition and he's hearing reports about how someone attacked a school and Spider-Man was involved, and he's like, "I need a recess." Meanwhile, Spider-Man is tied to a chair and his mask is off and Kingpin is sitting in front of him, and he has his Spider-Man action figure and he's like, "This is a prototype," and he's pushing it in his face. He goes like, "Look at this.
Stop hitting yourself.
Yeah.
Quit hitting yourself.
Yeah, he's like, "You little piece of shit." He's like, "I own this because I own you. This is a prototype. We're gonna make 1 billion of these, and I'm gonna make money every time you do anything. I'm gonna make fucking $100,000.
Okay.
I just want you to know, like, you're a piece of shit." And then he goes, "You know what's funny? I don't know who you are, and whenever we look you up, we ran your fingerprints. You're protected. I guess Nick Fury likes you or something, so I can't know who you are." But that doesn't mean I can't like fuck you up. And he's
Other
like,
than the fact that I know that someone got you at a specific school.
Right.
So clearly I can look
Probably
you
not
up.
that
right,
hard.
like I could, yeah. Now that I know you go to that school, I could just get all the yearbooks and give them to one of my henchmen.
Yeah.
Just leaf through it until you see this kid right here.
Oh, it's Peter Parker.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Go to
Yep.
his aunt's house. That's it.
She's not there. She's in the hospital.
He doesn't do that.
No,
Instead, he's
Nick
like,
Fury scrubbed the yearbooks too. He's very thorough.
he did not.
There's no records.
way. Yeah, right? No, they cast a spell and made everybody forget he's Peter Parker. Basically, he says, like, I don't, like, my plan was to kill you, but now I found out I own you, and I own your likeness, and I own everything you do. So, like, if I kill you, you know, there'd be a little bump in sales, but then it'll all go away because,
Right.
like, you're the flavor of the month. But if you keep being Spider-Man, I keep getting paid. It's bad for business to kill you. So you keep being Spider-Man, you keep doing this, and know that every time you do anything, every time you put on that mask and go out there, you're making me money. And if you quit, I'll know, and I'll find out who you are, and I'll blow up your school. In fact, I'll just blow up your school anyway. 'Cause I don't care. 'Cause I'm a piece of shit.
Right. That's his plan.
That's his plan.
I mean, it's
And I'm like, but
it's pretty effective.
But didn't you want to run it into the ground? Like,
Yeah.
wasn't the plan? And I was like, I love the flood the market plan.
Yeah, that's a
And-
good plan.
And then there was the,
just a little bit different.
yeah, just a little bit, but he's just, I own you.
Here's the thing. Maybe the plan is still running into the ground.
Right.
But like when I'm talking to Spider-Man,
I want him to
I'm
think-
just gonna rub it in his face
Yeah.
how much I own him
Exactly.
and how rich he's making.
Yes,
me.
that's right. Like every time you think you're making a difference, you're actually not. Because every dollar I make off of you, I'm going to use for crime.
Yeah. It's gonna hurt more people.
Yeah.
Than
Yeah,
you
I'm
say.
gonna make sure that money goes directly toward hurting people just
Exactly.
randomly for no reason. Not even
I
to
actually
like
have
further my
funds
business.
and you know special projects for that.
Yeah. So he goes, but the first thing I want you to do for me is go back to your little gaggle of friends and tell them to knock it off. And then he turns to Ronin and he punches him in the face. And starts wailing on him and goes, so you're Moon Knight, right? That's your name? And just beats him into, like, incapacitation. And he says,
He beats the Ronin out
he
of him.
beats the Ronin out of him. And he goes, Matt Murdock is Daredevil. He works for me. He's my lawyer, you fucking morons. Like, it's public knowledge. Everybody knows that Matt Murdock works for me. He's my personal lawyer.
What?
He sold you out.
What?
Yeah. No, it's bullshit.
Oh.
He's just he's yelling that at Ronin so Spider-Man will hear it and then turn on Daredevil.
Right. He wants him
Oh,
to
okay.
get Daredevil for him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Iron Fist is an asshole.
Yeah. So he beats the shit out of Ronin and then goes back to Peter. He's like, and listen, like, if you do cross me, I will kill you because as much as, you know.
As much as I love money,
like.
I hate betrayal more.
Well, I hate you. And like, you know, the nostalgia market's pretty big. You know, just look at Jimi Hendrix. Of course, you're no Jimi Hendrix. And then steps on him and goes, you want to make any fat jokes around now? So good.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. So then Daredevil smashes through the
He's
window.
like, I kind of wish you were made of marshmallow right now. You're very heavy.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish he made a joke, but Peter's just so upset and overwhelmed because
Yeah.
he's thinking of like 1,000 things. Like, fuck, Daredevil manipulated me and used me. Like the whole thing about the school just now. I'm gonna hear, but I own, like, you know, Kingpin owns my rights.
I can't quip right now.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Daredevil goes. It's like later in the day. Daredevil goes to Kingpin's office, or an office where Spider-Man was brought.
Okay.
And he like checks around. He's like, "Fuck, I can't. None of my radar sense is telling me anything about this."
Right.
So he calls Doctor Strange. Wong says he's in a meeting where he's meditating. What that means is he's fucking some chick. And he says, "Can't you see I'm meditating?" So Doctor Strange meets up with Daredevil, and he's like, "I need you to like use magic to show to roll back time mystically and figure out what happened here, so we could put it together because I don't have time to like be a
Is that a
detective."
thing you can do?
Conveniently, it is.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But what Doctor Strange winds up doing is creating like a holographic projection of what happens,
Okay.
which Daredevil can't fucking see, but Doctor Strange can see it.
I'll just tell you.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can hear it, right?
Yeah, and he goes, "There, Spider-Man was here," and he's like, "Where?" And he's like, "He's lying on the desk right here. You can't see that?" And he's like, no."
Oh, he doesn't know he's blind?
No.
Oh, okay.
So
That's
then,
funny.
you know, they see that like, okay, Ronin is Moon Knight. He fucked up. He's an idiot. He was supposed to tell us what the plan was, and he didn't. He just went for his Ronin thing. That's really messed up. And then they moved him, and then they follow like the trail of magic to the secret basement where all that shit that we just saw went down. And they put it together and they open it up and it's empty and there's just some blood. And they're like, okay, so like, that's it. Like they figure it all out.
Right.
And they know that Spider-Man was taken from there, and that's where the trail ends. So then the whole team meets back up on a rooftop, and they're all talking. Shang-Chi, Iron Fist, Doctor Strange, and Daredevil. Like, all right, we gotta go look for Spider-Man. I feel really bad. Like, we sicked Moon Knight on Kingpin, and it was a mistake.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man paid the price.
Okay, that was a bad plan.
Yeah, you were right
you were right
about
about
that.
The plan would have been fine had Moon Knight not created a bad personality.
I didn't know that was the plan. I didn't know his power was mental illness. So Iron Fist's like, who gives a shit about Spider-Man? Whatever, we're fine. It doesn't matter. It's cool.
And everyone just like looks at him kind of side-eyed.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Wait.
Aren't you a superhero?
Yeah. And then Spider-Man webs Daredevil's face.
Oh.
He's like, you piece of shit. So then he just did, Iron Fists up, and he just takes everybody down just immediately. And Doctor Strange's like, okay, that's enough. And so Spider-Man like yells at them. He's like, this whole thing is a stupid fucking joke. Matt Murdock works for the Kingpin. He told me. And Matt's like, whoa. Did Kingpin use my real name? Like, does he know who I am? And Spider-Man's like, and then Matt Murdock's law office explodes.
Oh.
huh?
And Spider-Man's like, holy shit! And he's like, yeah. And they're all like, let's go! He goes, no, it's empty. Everybody's gone. If we run, that's what Kingpin wants. He wants to see us. He told you that I was his lawyer to make us look like a bunch of morons. Then he blew up my office, which I really... Okay, so like, blowing up his office is shades of Daredevil Born Again, which Kingpin blows up Matt Murdock's office when he finds out who he is.
Right.
It is not just the best Daredevil story ever written. It might be one of the best comic books ever written.
Wow.
And it's in 2 panels of this random story that Daredevil's a cameo in, and it's like, I appreciate it, but like, if you want to see something really cool with Matt Murdock's office being blown up by the Kingpin, read Daredevil Born Again. But
Well, it's also a little. I'm just a little bit confused because by blowing up the office, he gives away that that Matt Murdock is actually not working for him.
Yeah.
So like Spider-Man literally just said it.
Yep.
And you got a few moments of like what?
Yeah.
Confusion, and then like
Here's the thing.
Okay, never mind. I'm gonna tip my hand. Like what? What? Why wouldn't you want that to develop?
I don't know. Because Kingpin's just like he's like a shotgun of bullshit. Just how about everything all at once?
So Kingpin knows that Spider-Man will talk.
Yes.
So if he talks to him, he's like, of course he's going to figure out that Matt Murdock isn't my lawyer, and they'll resolve this.
Eventually he'll
But
figure it out.
if I can make him angry for a little bit just to distract them, and then fuck up their lives.
Right, exactly.
That's the best part.
Yeah, and I want to show that like I have reach.
Also, I know who they all are now.
Exactly. And then there's this moment where they're all talking, and then Matt just turns to Iron Fist, and he's like, "Did you tell him how my powers work?" And Iron Fist's like, "I don't know what you mean." He goes,
What?
"Because I can hear your heartbeat, and I know that you're the one who's like freaking out right now. Like I'm basically a human lie detector. So what did you tell the Kingpin exactly?" So
And I'll know if you're lying.
Yeah.
exactly. So then we see a couple of dudes, and they're just dropping off Ronin. They beat him savagely, and they're supposed to kill him in this river, like under an overpass. And they're just chatting. They're bendicing it up. And,
So they're not doing their job.
Yep. And then they shoot him in the head, and they dump him face first in the river.
Never mind, they do their job.
Yeah. And they're just like there. They're supposed to leave him in the costume because it sends a message. Find another line of work. People in masks.
So they kill Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, they shoot him in the head.
They shoot him in the head.
Wait, what?
So then we see later in the day, Iron Fist just reporting back to Kingpin. He's like, he knew everything. He figured it all out. Like he,
Yeah, then how are you here?
it all fell apart. And he's like, what'd they do? And he goes, you blew up his office. He freaked out, man. Like, how hard do you think it was going to be for him to figure out who sold him out? Like, he knows everybody. He knew me the least. So then we cut back to how that all came about.
And apparently Matt Murdock is just a straight up murderer.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Well, he
wants to be.
He's an aspiring murderer.
He's an aspiring murderer, yeah. So then Iron Fist is like, I have a daughter. Her name's Colleen. Kingpin found out and used it against me. And they're like, you piece of shit.
What does that mean? You have a daughter.
Right,
What is he gonna do?
Well, like, basically, he the way he describes it is like, they pinned a note on her in school. Like when they picked her up, like there's a note pinned to her clothes saying like, hey, like we know who you are. Come see me.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's like that was scary enough. He's like, no, I wanted to go kill him. Like my plan was to go kill him, but then I imagined what would happen, like to my kid and my life if I went to jail, and it was way messier than me just betraying all of you.
Well, you probably should have killed him.
Yeah. Spider-Man's like, did you tell him my name? He goes, I don't know your name.
I would have. I definitely would have.
definitely
I was
would have.
prepared to do that, yes.
Yeah.
100% would have, but no, I did not.
Right.
Because I couldn't.
So Shang-Chi is disgraced, and he's like, get away from me. He walks away. He walks away from the whole thing. Meanwhile, they're talking, like Kingpin and Iron Fist, and he's just like, so they didn't kill you? That's funny, because I definitely would have killed you. He goes, no, they gave me another chance if I betrayed you right now. And he's like, what? And his right-hand man is like, oh my god, is he going to blow up the building? Are we going to die right now? So then Kingpin runs to Vanessa's bedroom, and in the bedroom is Daredevil holding her neck.
Oh my god. That's
Meanwhile,
arguably way more messed up than just blowing them up.
I know. Meanwhile, in Ronin's mind is the little girl who's like, are we dead? And the other personality is like, apparently not, because we're still here talking to each other.
You're not real. You can't be killed.
So
You're not alive.
So Moon Knight's face is in the river, the metaphorical mind
Oh
river.
yeah.
And she's like, come on, get up.
They didn't shoot Moon Knight, they shot Ronin.
That's right, they shot Ronin. It's like fucking Fight Club. So all the personalities trying to get Moon Knight up. They're like, come on, wake up, get up.
Get up.
God. And then Ronin's like, get out of the way. And Ronin's like, get up, Moon Knight. Like,
Oh,
picks
it's
up
like
his-
Super Shredder.
Yeah, he's like,
Super Ronin.
So Super Ronin like picks him up. He's like, get up. Moon Knight wakes up. Ronin wakes up, and he's like, now. And he just holds the back of his head like that's gonna do anything. And he just
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my brains in.
yeah. Oh, it was only pierced. They didn't start coming out. Thankfully, I fell forwards instead of backwards. So he just wanders out of.
What'd
the,
you shoot
out of
him
the
with?
river.
Pebble.
Right?
Yeah.
Out of a slingshot.
I guess his
Assault gun.
I guess
like,
his suit is bulletproof.
yeah.
What? They didn't check that there was no blood.
I keep a spare moon dagger
Frickin' frack weren't paying attention.
behind my skull.
That's right, yeah. They never check there. So, Mr. Daredevil's like just taunting Kingpin. He tells a story. He's like, we heard the rumors about Vanessa. Maybe like she realized what a horror you are and her brain just turned off. And that's what her mystery coma's all about. He's like, you made this happen. You pushed me to this, you son of a bitch. And so he's like, okay, all right, cool down. Well, let's just figure this
all right,
out.
okay.
And Daredevil's like, I have to kill you. I have to kill all of you. You know who I am. You're going to ruin my life.
Yeah.
And then Spider-Man shows up and he's like, no, wait. He's like, dude, you can't kill him. Like, if you kill him, you'll betray everything we are. That's not what we do here. Like,
That's not what you do. Snap.
right. He goes, no, dude, like, you're the one with your hand on the throat of a helpless woman. Like, think about that. Like, you're not in the right here right now. And he goes, I want Kingpin to be stopped, but not like this. He goes,
Not like this.
And then he tells a story about Uncle Ben. He's like, I didn't act. And a man killed my uncle in his own house. He's telling Kingpin who he is, basically. Like, he shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, Jesus.
But Kingpin he's not listening,
Yeah,
thankfully.
he's focused on Vanessa.
He is, and it's great. But he just basically goes like, look, man, like I didn't do the right thing when it mattered. So now I try to do the right thing every time it matters. Like, I'm a fan of yours, dude. Like, I like you, and I hate him, but this is something you can't take back. And Daredevil says it's the only thing he'll understand. And Kingpin goes, please, it was just business. Don't make it personal. And Spider-Man goes, boy, you really don't know when to shut up.
No, you understand. It was just business, though.
It was just business, though. Don't you understand?
Get it?
I'm a businessman. This is all I understand.
That's fucked up, though.
Yeah.
No, it's not. You're fucked up.
Right.
Capitalism, baby.
So Kingpin goes, what do you want? Like, just tell me what you want. And Daredevil's like, give yourself up. And Spider-Man's like, he won't do that.
Yeah. Okay.
And then he goes, okay,
What else do you want?
leave the country. Get out of the country, never come back, like you did before. But just don't ever come back.
Right, and
Like,
never return.
Yeah, I never want to see you again. Take your blood money and your chopper and leave forever. And then Spider-Man goes, and if you do come back, I will sick Nick Fury on you. And you know I can. I love Daredevil's like, you can do that? you have Nick Fury powers? So then, meanwhile, at the police precinct, Bendis backdoors another hilarious sight joke. He likes to do this every once in a while where he'll have like a character who's crazy and being arrested, dressed up as a character from the main universe that isn't normally appearing in this Ultimate Universe, yelling things.
Yeah.
We have female versions of Cloak and Dagger being arrested, and one of them goes, before they even say anything silly, they just go, oh my god! And Ronin just walks in bleeding, walking through the door, and he goes, hi. Love it, because all the cops pull out their guns, and the top cop is like, put your fucking guns away, you jumpy fuckers! And he goes, my name is Mark Spector, Stephen Grant, and Moon Knight. I shot up a school, and the Kingpin tried to kill me today. And they're like, who's the Kingpin? He's like, Wilson Fisk. Wilson Fisk had me executed today. And they're like, oh, okay. So then meanwhile, Kingpin gets into his limo to go to his private airfield. And they're leaving. And the right-hand guy is like, dude, I don't get it. Like, you're leaving? Like, are you actually surrendering? And he goes, I'm going to take Vanessa out of the country, and then I'm going to do what I should have done yesterday. I'm going to have Matt Murdock assassinated. I'm going to, in his sleep, in his courthouse. I don't give a fuck where it is. And then I want you, get your top guys, I want you to blow up the school that Peter Parker goes to while class is in session. Just blow it the fuck up. And the dude's like, are you sure about that? He's like, while class is in session.
If you make me repeat myself again, I will kill you and get someone else to do it.
So they're making their way towards the private jet, which is, it's got its lights on, it's ready to go. He goes, he came to my home, he touched my wife. I am losing my mind. I'm sorry. He came to my home.
There we go.
He touched my wife. It's been a while. I'm trying to remember it. It's the city. Vanessa. Touched my wife. And then every cop shows up.
Huh.
And they're like, Wilson Fisk. And he says, yes. And they're like, you're under arrest. And he goes, why? And they go, you're under arrest for attempted murder. He goes, who did I attempt to murder? And they're like, Stephen Grant and Mark Spector. He goes, who the hell is that? And they go, Moon Knight. And he goes, wait, he's still alive?
Oh, that was the wrong thing to say, man.
So he gets arrested. And
That can't be attempted murder. No, I murdered him.
yeah.
Oh, don't write that down.
No.
Wait, never mind. So then we see like the whole thing, the arraignment, like Kingpin busted, walk of shame, done. They're debating it on TV. They got like, they're talking about Moon Knight and how awesome he is. Like, Moon Knight is a hero. Like, you give up everything just to stop the Kingpin. Meanwhile, we see like what everyone's up to. And like we see like Danny Rand is reading to his kid while his wife is like looking at him cross like, you loser. You pathetic traitor.
You crossed Spider-Man.
Right. Doctor Strange is doing his thing. Who cares? Shang-Chi's leaving. Daredevil just feels like a piece of shit. And Spider-Man's swinging by. And then one of my favorite images of Spider-Man ever. Peter Parker is walking through the rain by a store that is choked with Spider-Man merchandise. Like, he doesn't save the day.
Still, yeah, he does not own his own
likeness. Meanwhile, a couple days later, the house is good as new. Aunt May is healthy, and they move in. And the S.H.I.E.L.D. took care of everything, stocked the cabinets. And Aunt May's like, we need to talk. Earlier in the hospital, she's like, so you're Spider-Man? He goes, we'll talk when you're better.
Right.
And she's like, fair. So then they go in and she goes, okay, so you're Spider-Man. And he goes, yeah.
We'll talk after wheat cakes.
We'll talk after graduation.
No.
Yeah.
That is years from now.
Right? Yeah, I know. So they have the conversation, which of course is overshadowed by the fact that JMS just had the conversation like a couple of years prior. And everyone's still reeling from that. But now we get ultimate conversation.
Now we have the ultimate conversation.
The ultimate conversation.
With cursing.
Yes, with bleeped cursing. Yeah, JMS put those in there too. But so Aunt May is just like, tell me everything. Like, give me the spiel. And Peter's like, so Norman Osborn invented these genetic spiders and one bit me. She's like, Norman Osborn? Is that why he's such a creep about us? And he's like, yeah. She's like, oh, that explains a lot. If you'd just been honest with me, maybe I wouldn't have maybe my life wouldn't be so fucking topsy-turvy. Like, yeah. But and he's like,
it still would be, but you'd understand it a little better.
That's it. And I love it because he's like, yeah.
Is he gonna go through the whole spiel?
Yeah. Oh no, he talks about it all. But like,
so we just get a recap of the last issues.
19 or 16 volumes or so.
Of the last 4 months, I believe.
Such a good conversation. Yeah, exactly. But well, basically, she goes, well, what about, like, wait, so Harry, like all that? He's like, oh yeah, Harry turned into a hobgoblin or something, She's like, and you had to fight him. And he's like, yeah, I had to fight him. She goes, there's so much violence in your life. I don't like it. Like, I don't like the fact that I don't like the fighting.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that, it's just, but he's like, there are bad people and they don't listen.
If only they've listened.
No, it's not that. It's just like, I wish there weren't bad people, but there are, and I have to be realistic. And she's like, well, moving on, you have to finish school. And he's like, I'm going to finish school.
Yeah, I've been going to school the whole time.
I've been going to school.
Okay?
She's like, no, but you have to finish school well. Like, you have to be a student. Yeah. And he's like, no. And she goes, and after that, you have to, like, you're an adult after that, but, like, he's, no. I'm going to school. I'm going to graduate school. I'm going to get my doctorate. I'm going to be a doctor. Like, I'm going to be a scientist. And she's like, okay. And you're going to do this while you're Spider-Man. And he's like, I have to. And she's like, why? And he goes, because with great power, there must also come great responsibility. And she's like, oh my God, Ben used to say that. And he's like, Ben said that to me right before he died. And then he explains to her, like, it's my fault. Like, Uncle Ben is dead because of me. He was right. Like, the killer was right there, and I could have stopped him, and I didn't. And now Uncle Ben is dead. And so...
All right, I'm getting goosebumps now.
I know. So he cries, and she goes, you do this because you think it's your fault that Uncle Ben died. And he goes, I could have stopped him. And she goes, no, a man killed your uncle. That man should feel guilty. She's like, I've been in therapy since this started, and I have survivor's guilt. I blame myself because I wanted the house that we moved into. Ben didn't like it. If I didn't have that house, maybe he wouldn't have broken into that house. Like,
Right.
That's not my responsibility. It's not my fault. Like,
Yeah, that's like a thing that happened afterward,
thing that happened.
but it doesn't logically follow from...
Exactly.
Yeah, it's the same thing. She's like, well, maybe if I didn't fall in love with Ben, he wouldn't be dead.
Exactly.
Yes.
No, but
Yeah.
like that's what survivor's guilt does. And
Yeah.
she's like, but like, if we weren't in that house, it wouldn't have happened. No, he made that choice to kill your uncle. That's his fault. It's not our fault. Like, we don't need to bear that burden.
Right.
And he goes, I can't help how I feel. And I think Uncle Ben would love that I'm Spider-Man. And she says he really would.
Well, that is true. That we can agree on.
Yeah. And she goes, so how do you find people to beat up? Explain that to me.
He's like, they really find me.
I really don't like how you're describing this, what I do.
Right. Like, so you just you go around Manhattan looking for people to punch.
When you put it like that.
Yeah, she's like,
sounds
and
a
where do
little
you get the costume from? He goes, oh, I made it to be a wrestler. And she's like,
So I could profit
right,
off...
what? And he's like, it sounded like a good idea at the time. MJ made the one that I wear now, and she's like, so Mary Jane knows. So you didn't tell the woman who raised you. You told the girl that you're trying to have sex with, and he's like, it's
What
not,
do you mean, try it?
right? He's like, I'm not. It's not an impugn. Like, I'm not impugning you, Aunt May.
She's my friend, I'm a child.
Yeah, what do you want from me?
Yeah, she's,
I mean,
she's my age.
Look, Norman Osborn threw off a bridge. Okay, like it's not without its punishments.
Here's the thing. She kind of found out by watching me.
No, she found out because he told her.
Yeah.
They were in his bedroom and he stuck to the ceiling and was like, I'm Spider-Man! She's like, ugh, this is not.
There's a lot.
There's a lot, but I'm enjoying it. Like, I'm really excited. This is a real relief for me. Like, it's like the world has come into color. Like, I get it.
Everything makes way more sense.
Yes, like I was kind of obsessed with Spider-Man and why he was so close to my life. Like, I couldn't figure it out, and I've been in therapy. Like my husband dies, Spider-Man's there. My house blows up, Spider-Man's there.
Right. He was like stalking me?
Right, like what's going on?
I know he's a friendly neighborhood, but like, could he not be in my neighborhood?
Right. She's
Right.
like, it's actually not a mystery to me now how unbelievably careless you are with this. And he's like, I'm not careless. And she goes, people,
Oh, really?
People attack your school to kill Spider-Man.
It's like, well, that comes with the territory.
Right. So then we should point out that like this is the last volume of Bagley drawing Spider-Man.
Oh.
For like 111 issues, Bagley and Bendis are working together. Bagley's leaving the book. And this is because I believe it's like a kind of torch passing. They wanted to beat out the original run of like Spider-Man with like the original duo. But Stuart Immonen will take over for penciling duties for Spider-Man. He does an incredible job. It looks just as good. I really appreciate it, but it is like sad to see Bagley leave.
Yeah.
And then we get a full-on Bendis page where he's like explaining, like he gives her a for instance, like a very recent example of what's going on, of like what it's like to be Spider-Man. And we do that through 2 pages of art with 2 full columns of dialogue.
Interesting.
And it's a way to unclutter the pages. And I think it's a nice way to be like, so Immonen's taking over the book. I want you to see the Immonen art before I cover it all up with my words. Bendis has done this before in his Max work and also in some of the other stuff where he's just like, here's a dialogue sequence. I like writing scripts.
Yeah.
and it's I've never seen it done with any other writer, and I kind of dig it.
Yeah, it's cool.
But it's a great way to have like a full-on dialogue without covering up the beautiful pictures with your fucking bullshit words. Basically, the idea is that it's the origin of the ultimate Spot. The Spot is a oft ignored, understandably forgotten Spider-Man villain about a guy who can create little, those holes from Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Well, he's covered in them and he can make them.
Okay. Where do they go?
They go wherever they want. Like they're wormholes, basically. You can go in here and you come out where the other hole is. You make 2 holes, you come out.
It's like a portal
It's
gun.
a portal gun. He's a portal man, but his name's the Spot, or at least That's what the original one is called.
Okay.
But Spider-Man's talking about how like it's mostly I try to live my life. Like I'm Spider-Man, I swing to work, I become Peter Parker, I go to work, and I love working there, and it's so much. It's all this. It's busy and noisy, and everyone's like trying to be their best selves. And then like I hear about this explosion at this lab, and I go there, and Spider-Man's there, and.
So he's just narrating.
Yes, he's explaining to Aunt May what it is, and Aunt May's like, what? I don't understand. Huh? Who's that? But he's like, I don't know. I just like, literally, like, I'll hear people screaming about like labs and high tech shit, and like, please don't. You're a brilliant scientist. It all kind of blends together.
He's describing how he finds things.
Yes,
like he uses his superhero. He's
No,
Superman.
no, he's at the reporting desk. And hears about an explosion,
hears
so
it
he
over-
goes
yeah,
there.
okay.
No, he's explaining like the kind of cliche dialogue you experience
Right,
when a new
okay.
villain is formed. Like, no, please, like you're a brilliant scientist. He's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know
Don't
is
throw it all
He has
away.
so much to offer.
right. Like all I know is like there's a guy who's made of black and white spots, and people are gonna get hurt, so I just jump in.
Yeah.
And it's fucking weird. And like every day it's more weird. Like I shoot my web, he throws a hole, the web goes in, it comes out another side of the building. I don't know.
Ever since I've started being Spider-Man, every day is weirder than the one that came before.
What about today? Is today the weirdest day of your life?
Yes.
Wow, that's messed up. But yeah, he goes, she's like, so, and then you beat him up. You don't even know who he is, and you beat him up, and he goes, okay, you're getting, this is making you uncomfortable. Let's move on.
He's a super villain.
Well, he doesn't even know what he's doing.
This isn't making me feel uncomfortable. You're beating up a man that you don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd always cause it trouble.
Right. That's all I know. And now he's
there's
not.
a lot of
And
people
I
who are
hit
just
him-
causing trouble.
I hit him in the face with a fist, and it wasn't anymore.
Yeah.
So I beat him up, and he got knocked out, and then the police showed up and shot at me, and I ran away. She goes, the police shot at you? He was like, yeah.
I'm very wanted.
They do that a lot.
Yeah.
She's like, they shoot at my boy?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a vigilante. I'm an illegal vigilante.
Right. But he goes, this is kind of like a thing that happens a lot, and it's happened a lot, like, in a very short period of time, and I remember, like, a friend of mine in school, not really a friend, a guy I don't like, talked
An enemy.
Yeah, well, it's Kong.
Yeah.
But I don't even know what he is. He's not, he doesn't wish, I don't wish him any, I'm a well-wisher, and that I don't wish him any specific harm. But he mentioned, he likened it to Ghostbusters, that scene where Winston and Ray are talking about how maybe that we're so busy lately because, like, something's happening. And he's like, I mean, there's Daredevils and Goblins and Electros, and like 2 years ago there was none of it,
Right.
and now it's all of it, and it's all happening now, and it's like it's building towards something.
Or maybe it's like you caused it.
No, I'm not the first one.
Yeah, I'm sure May is especially saying like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's your fault.
Man
May.
dresses
is
up
your
like a
fault.
spider, and then all
Yeah,
these
you're the
wackos
opposite.
come out
no,
of the womb.
he's like he is technically the first Ultimate character to be invented, but when he shows up, that Ultimate stuff has already been going on.
Okay.
But he says, I don't know, maybe I'm too close to see it, or maybe it's nothing. Like, I don't know, but maybe it's just how the world is. And it's just fucking weird and we have to deal with it. And she goes, yeah, that sounds fair. I mean, some people's kids are stealing or doing drugs, and mine dresses like a Spider-Man and runs around and punches people who deserve it.
It could be worse, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I guess I can't stop you. He goes, do you want to stop me? And she goes, well, I don't want you to get hurt.
Yeah, I'm supposed to want to stop you.
Right. Legally speaking, I should
Yeah,
want
the
to stop you.
responsible
It's-
adult thing to do is to try to stop you.
it's conflict inside of me
Yes.
to say like, I kind of don't want to stop.
Right.
You.
Yeah.
You didn't ask for any of this, so if you want me to leave, I will. And she's like, why would I want you to leave? She goes, well, last time we talked, you kicked me out of the house. You said that I wasn't your son and I shouldn't be here anymore.
She's like, yeah, because you were lying
Right,
to
because
me.
you're a lot. And she's like, I love you. You are my son.
Oh.
And so she says, you stay here and you grow up, and I don't want to miss a minute of it. And so they hug, and it's all new status quo for Spider-Man. Aunt May knows, and she's endorsing him.
Nice.
She goes, okay, I have more questions, but I'm going to go lie down. And he goes, okay. And she goes, what are you going to do? And he goes, oh, I don't know. I guess I'll figure something out. And it's just a big, beautiful last splash of Bagley art for Spider-Man.
Nice.
Saying goodbye. It's just really cool. It's a really nice conversation. One should read it because it's just a really lovely back and forth.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Bendis gets these characters. He practically invented them. Like these, the templates are all there, but he really fleshed them out in a way where like Aunt May came alive. I feel like Aunt May hasn't really been a character since like Straczynski really like infused her with life. and when Bendis did it. Like, Aunt May has always been like a stock character that's like, ah! Although,
Yeah.
I will say, because she's an old crone, you see. But no, DeMatteis gave her character, but even then, all she was like a stock, like, quip machine. She was Yoda, you know? She's like, here's a platitude about responsibility or about, like, you know, how you are a good boy and deserve, like, to be having sex with beautiful people regardless of relationships you're in. But no, like...
Would you say she was like Wilson in Home Improvement?
Yeah, she was so Wilson in Home Improvement. The only
Well, I
difference
always
is...
have this wise thing to say.
She always has a wise thing to say. She always has like wheat cakes to make. But when he killed her in Amazing 400, it's like, I knew you were Spider-Man the whole time.
Yeah.
And like, that's
interesting.
That's interesting. And then she fucking died. And then the next time she was interesting was when she found out again. That's the next time she was ever interesting. And then like ever since then, they were like, I don't know, let's give her a homeless shelter or something. That'll be a substitute for a personality. I mean, like, and the movies did a nice job with it in the third movie, but like otherwise, Aunt May is a tough character to crack outside of like if you want to make her a character. Most folk don't write Spider-Man to get at that old biddy and tell some damn good stories about what she's up to.
Unless she's a fan of pro wrestling.
Like things happen to Aunt May. Like
she's a plot device.
She gets into relationships, and then Peter has to deal with these dudes. You know, that's it.
Like Dr. Octopus.
Like Dr. Octopus or Nathan Lebensky or J. Jonah Jameson's dad. You know,
like, oh boy, this is crazy for Spider-Man.
What a wacky situation.
What's this gonna do to him?
Yes. How does I mean, look, he's the protagonist. Nobody wants to read an Aunt May book. Aunt May, the amazing May. But
amazing.
But
come on.
There you go. But I
would
would read Ultimate May. Like Aunt May is a cool character.
What would Ultimate May do?
She's also a little bit younger.
Ultimate May goes to like wine drinking, painting classes.
You would read a whole book about that.
I'd read a whole issue.
One issue, okay.
As long as Spider-Man shows up in the issue.
Nah, he's fine. There's so many issues of Ultimate Spider-Man where Spider-Man's barely in it. It's mostly about Peter and girls being like, woo! Or Peter going, woo! But solid ass arc. Also, eggs into the Kingpin. Kingpin is taken down and then arrested. That's pretty much
goes the fuck away.
That's pretty much the last arc for Kingpin.
Wow.
Did Mark go to the hospital afterwards?
Oh yeah,
and get that bullet hole looked at?
I'm guessing.
Probably.
Moon Knight is not a major character in the Spider-Man books anymore.
I've been trepanning
That's for the best.
in the back of my head. I'm even better now.
I had a major headache back there anyway. I needed to reduce the swelling and pressure. Don't do that. Ultimate Knights, check it out. It's in the comments down below. You can pick up a copy. I highly recommend you do, and we'll see you guys next time with an all-new episode of Back. That will not be Ultimate Spider-Man for a little while, unless the views dip, and then you'll see it again really soon. But otherwise, see you guys next time. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Ben.
Keep reading. Leave it in. Lift and see.
Warts and all.
Yeah.
This is fucking crazy.
It's so crazy. It's all over the place.